I'm going to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to my apostle, elders, the great millstone of Ruel. Peace and salutation, all the Akim pushing this truth without righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This your brother Tajima Debar coming back through the spirit and power, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And through the spirit, you see the title of the lesson, Turn Your L's into Lessons, man. And through the spirit, I was inspired to do this lesson of the beloved elder brother in the LA camp, Michael Allah, that he always goes in how brothers should turn the L's and adversities they're going through out the week into lessons, man, to learning experiences within the ministry, within your walk, man. And I got this quote from Bruce Lee. It says, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." And that's the spirit that you have to be in according to your faith, according to the measure the Most High has measured your faith, as when you walking through this adversity and within your trials and your tribulations in the faith and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. So whatever you're going through, you're supposed to turn them L's into lessons. And I got a real brief clip I wanted to play.
We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished, will never be retired. My high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, I actually paid attention one time in class, and he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end, but for me, that time is not now. Thank you for this tremendous honor and acknowledging my basketball career, but I'm far from done. My next dream is to be honored one day for inspiring the next generation of athletes to have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never ever rest in the middle.
And that's the spirit that you're supposed to be.
We're not on the stage.
Walk. You shouldn't be resting in the middle. We won't get our rest into the kingdom. So within that, right now, we're going to go through the fiery trial. We're going to go through the adversities. But it's the Most High that's testing us. So I'm going to jump straight into it. This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6. For whom Yahweh love, he chastiseth and scourgeth every son whom he received, man. So you're going to go through the adversities. You're going to go through the trials and tribulations. You're going to go through the things at your job and with your woman and your family, because the Most High is trying you. Verse 7, it says, "If ye endure chastising, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastised not?" And you got to understand, Yahweh chastised his own beloved son, Yahweh Shai. Then it said, as when you go into the scripture, it said it pleased him to bruise him. So what more so us in the latter days? We trying to be joint heirs of Yahweh Shai. So we must take part of the sufferings with Yahweh Shai, man. That's what that fiery trial, the adversities was coming within his ministry. Verse 8, it says, "But if ye be without chastisement, let's read that again. But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons." And that's what you're seeing with a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys want to go up another way. They don't want to take the chastisement. They want to be like of this world. But the Most High said the friendship with this world is enmity with the Most High. So you got to understand, the guys is out here for the clout and for the love of the world. The Most High is not of that spirit. He's not dealing with these guys, man. But with the fiery trial, the adversities, that's what the Most High is. He's supping with the humble and the meek. He's not supping with these guys that's trying to be all proud and want to do their own thing. No, he's supping with the guys that's going through the straight gate. As you read in 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, as you read in Matthew, the 7th chapter, and you go into that number 7, it means completion. So that's part of that suffering, the adversities that you must go through to prove yourself to Yahweh Shai, man. And this is 1 Peter's chapter 4, verse 12, and I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to just get straight to the points. It says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange things happen unto you," man. So you shouldn't think it's strange, man. When you start to go through things, when your car started to break down, when your girl started to bug out, your kids become demons, a lot of things that the Most High is going to bring upon you to try you, man. You got to understand, the Most High told Satan that he could try Job, because he knew Job was a noble man, a devout man of the Lord, and he was going to stand 10 toes down no matter what was brought upon him, man. And Job stand 10 toes down to what more so us, knowing what's coming down the pipe, knowing the demonizations is right around the corner with this deep fake and all this technology, knowing these 2/3 niggas, they really hate us and they want to get us out the way so they can enjoy this wicked ass society. So within that, we understand the Lord is about to bring the adversity. He's about to bring the persecution to separate the men from the boys. So within our walk, man, we have to stand 10 toes down and be redeeming the times because the days are evil, and stay focused, man. We have to stay focused. Verse 13, but rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of Mashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be revealed also with a exceedingly joy, man. And that's what we're seeking, man, to be joint heirs to Yahushua. When his glory is revealed, we pray that we're in that likened to that same fashion as the scriptures say, man. Verse 14, if ye be reproached for the name of Mashiach, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of Yahweh resteth upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified. And we see that, man. We see that a lot of guys he's evil spoken of, man. They take the Lord's name in vain. They're doing things according to their own lust and their own ways of the world, instead of according to the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah, man. And that's why you see, man, the Most High is going to start separating the men from the boys, man. You're going to start seeing those that serve Yahweh Shema Shah and those that serve him not, man. And we're seeing that in the last days, man. And it says, but let none of your suffering as a murderer or as a thief or as a evildoer or as a busybody in other men's manners. Yet if any man suffer as a Mashiachim, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify Yahweh on his behalf. And that's what you should do, man. Gird up your loins as a man. Taking your adversity, going through your trials and tribulation, thinking they're not strange, because knowing this is part of the faith, man. The Most High is to try you. Verse 17, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Lord. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh? Because we're getting judged now, man. We're going through that fiery trial, man. We're going through that straight gate, man. But we understand that that's part of the ministry. That's part of the walk. But what more so those that don't obey Yahweh Shema Shah, man. He said, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them be suffering according to the will of Yahweh, commit the keeping of the souls to him to well-doing as unto the faithful creator, man. So at the end of the day, we have to stand 10 toes down for this word into this ministry, because the Most High is trying us, man. We want to be found acceptable men through the furnace of adversity, man. Real quick. This is Sirach chapter 2. Verse 4, it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou is changed into a lower state, man. And that's what you should, you got to take it with the chin up. Understand that it's the Lord that's testing you. The Lord is purging you from the desires of this world, man, and getting you right. And basically, he's making you that fine gold, man. He's refining you through the spirit, man. He's breaking down the impurities to build you up through the spirit. It says, whatever so is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient. Patience goes back to suffering. It says, when thou is changed into a lower state, man. You can have it all right now. You can have it all because you got it from the world. As soon as you come into this truth, the Most High take it away from you. It's to check, but that's really to check your integrity and see if you are his, man. It says, verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men through the furnace of adversity. And that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about, man. The acceptable man through the furnace of adversity, man. The scriptures also speak about in Proverbs 24:10, it says, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. That strength represents your faith. If you faint, if you start to doubt, if you start to get weak within your walk, your strength is small. Your faith is small. You really didn't believe, man. And that's what you're starting to see with a lot of guys. Their faith is small, man. They never put out the world. They always withstand. They always stayed attached to the world. When the scriptures say, be not equally yoked with unbelievers, man. And within your walk, man, you got to start separating yourself from other people, man. To elevate, you got to separate. To elevate, you got to separate. And that's you separating yourself from people you was chilling with, things you was doing. You got to start to separate, man, so you can get built up in the spirit, man. Let me grab one more. I'm not, like I said, I wasn't going to make this long. Just wanted to bring it straight home, man. Just, hey, we're in the time of the Passovers right around the corner. So the Lord is going to really start to test those that say they coming in the name of Yahweh Shema Shah. He's going to start to test them. This is the Philippians chapter 4, verse 12. I know both how to be a base and I know how to abound. Everywhere in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. See, he said, I know both how to be a base, how to take the low, and I know how to be abound. And that's the spirit, man. You got to learn how to take the low, regardless what was brought upon you, man. You got to take it and know that the Lord is dealing. The Lord is doing this to test you, man, to test your integrity, man. Let me jump back down, verse 13. It says, I can do all things through the Mashiach, which strengthen me, man. So knowing that all these things you're going through is the Lord that's doing it. So you can do all things through your Mashiach, which strengthens us, man. Through the strength of the Lord, that strengthens our faith real quick. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse, let me see. I start at verse 3. And I knew such as a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell Yahweh knoweth, how that he was caught up into the paradise and heard the unspeakable words, which is not lawful for man to utter. And this is speaking on Apostle Paul, man, when he went to the third parts of heaven, to the spiritual realm. He says, or such and one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in my infirmity. See, he's like, man, I could glory knowing the wisdom, knowledge, understanding the things I know. But he said, but of myself I would not glory. And he said, but in his infirmities, his trials and tribulations, man, his adversities, the things that's brought upon him to make him stay in that humble meek state, to keep him low. And he says, for though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, man. It's like he was saying, like I said, man, he knew a lot of things through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. But he was glorifying in the infirmities. That's what in the thorn in the flesh, man. Knowing that the Lord is dealing with him, he was glorifying in that. And that's the same spirit we have to come in, man. Glorifying in our adversities and trial and tribulation that the Most High put the spirit on us to endure, to get over, and to accomplish and conquer. Because you got to understand, hey, the scriptures say, man, examine ourselves daily, whether you be in the faith. You got to understand the biggest enemy is yourself. So Satan is going to always try you to win you out of the faith. So you got to keep fighting the good fight of faith, man. He says, at least I should be exalted above measures through the abundance of the revelations. There was given me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measures, man. So the Most High, he humbled him. He put that thorn in his flesh to keep him humble. So what more so us? We have spiritual thorns in our flesh, things that we're going through, far as a job or women or children, various other things with the families. But that's to keep us humble, man. To understand this wisdom and understanding, we gave ourselves over to no madness and folly and vexation of spirit. As you go into Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, I think around the 17th verse on down. So with that, man, we understand this is the will of the Lord to keep us humble. And that's part of the faith, man. It says, for this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly thereof will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me, man. What did Kobe say, man? Don't rest in the middle. Hey, knowing that the Lord is dealing with you, don't rest in the middle, man, because we're trying to seek the rest in the kingdom. That's when we're going to find rest into our souls, man. As you go in Matthew, the 11th chapter, around the end of the verse, he says, take this yoke upon me because it's light, and you shall find rest upon your souls, man. And that's the spirit you're supposed to come in. Knowing that the adversities we're going to go through, hey, we got to take it, stand 10 toes down for this word, man. And understand that, hey, we'll get rest in the kingdom, but we have to keep fighting and have to keep contending the faith, knowing that things is about to come down the pipe, the persecution, the adversity, the trials and tribulation. That's part of the walk, man. That is part of the walk, but we gotta suffer it. Verse 10, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecution and the distress of Mashiach's sake, for when I am weak, then I am strong. And that's basically what the concept of this whole lesson is about, man. For when we are weak, we are strong, man. That's why I quoted that quote, man. Pray not for an easy life, but pray for the spirit to endure a hard one, man. And that's the spirit you're supposed to turn it. That's the spirit you're supposed to be in, man. Turn them L's into lessons so there be great talking points and teaching points so you can grow and actually show the sheep that's coming into the fold, man. They have to, this is part of being a overseer. To go through the adversity so you can build up the ones that's coming behind you. This is why we have beautiful examples as our apostles and elders. They give us the beautiful stories of that different adversity they went through so they can build us up within our faith, man, and within our walk, man. But within that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying through the Spirit. I don't say call Elohim La, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to my apostles, elders, great millstone of Ruel. Peace and salutation, all the Akim pushing this truth with our righteousness and sincerity. Krom Yasharallah and Abba Babal. Shalom.